welcome in. Today we will be talking about the power of art. Now, art has always been one of those things that have sort of reshaped the world. Every story, every written word, every picture depicted by an artist changes the world in some way. Whether it's in a small way or in a grand way, depends on the work of art. But there's always some kind of change. You know, from famous paintings such as Van Gogh, the Mona Lisa, things like that, all the way down to that one person you knew in middle school that you were really interested in their artwork. You know, these all make small impacts. It's just like how I've talked about in videos other than this. Everything sort of has an impact in its own respect. Art is definitely one of those things. Art is a very valuable expression tool, not only, but it's also a very valuable teaching. It's very valuable to move the thoughts that you have in your head along, and art is one of the best ways to do that. Because in art, usually we see these messages, these stories that people may have dedicated their lives to telling. And it's always just so human to want to tell a story. I know I've talked about it in a couple videos, and I have a couple videos planned talking about it more, but the most human thing you'll ever do is try to live on beyond the grave. Whether it's through a belief in an afterlife, whether it's through a form of art, whether it's through a variety of means, that is almost the most human thing we can do, is try to live beyond our death. And art is one of the key proponents in that, because so many people that make art, so many people that tell these stories, they, in essence, never die. Such as the people I just said. Van Gogh never died. Mozart never died, because we still talk about him today. And sure, those people I just mentioned may be thousands of years. I'm not sure how old any of them really are. I did not pay that much attention in history and art classes, but they could have been dead for thousands of years, but we'll still speak their name. We'll still tell their story, because they were so willing to tell their story themselves that even to this day we still have their story in our culture, constantly referenced by our teachers and by people making art similar to theirs in an attempt to achieve a similar success to theirs. Especially with the rise of the internet lately, this theme has been becoming ever so more apparent, because now that it's become accessible to be able to share these ideas, a lot more people are going and doing just that. So many more people are trying to make YouTube videos like me. So many more people are telling their story. And it might only be to 10 or so people, strangers on the internet, but there will at least be that small possibility of an impact that really had a meaningful change on someone. And that's all art is. That's all the stories are. That's all it all is just that want, that need to be everlasting, and to do it in an impactful way. And it's sort of very interesting how everybody loves art, but they hate the idea of death, even though most art delves into the idea of death. So many paintings depicting it, so many authors trying to capture its essence, so many poets writing about that fateful day, scared of it themselves, but preventing it in their own little way. And, you know, in a way, art is the greatest form of escapism. If you don't want to feel, you simply retreat into your own little world. And, you know, across human history, it's been a common theme that we don't necessarily want to be human. We don't want to have death constantly looming over us. We don't want to have these feelings of dread. We don't want to feel bad every time we wake up just because of some predetermined condition, just due to who we were born to. We don't want to do any of these things. But it's just so human to do so. So every time somebody talks about it, it just becomes all the more apparent our own struggles, and we really value that person. Because all art is a story. And all a story is a lesson, and all a lesson is pain. We've seen it throughout all of life, at least I have, is that existence is in more or less a pain. So living on past this grave not only cements our place in the history books, it not only gives us that eternal life, but it makes us happy. Creating is another one of the large proponents of mankind. We love to create. There are structures that show this. There are pieces of art. There are stories. We, as artists, create and destroy, bend and mold worlds because we love creating them. And that might be one of the most human things to do, because even though getting there was agony, even though the process to achieve the goal took suffering, all of a sudden, whenever that goal is finished, all that doubt, all those feelings of dread, every time you wanted to give up, it washes away. All that agony you felt all your life, washed away by art. So, that has been the video. I thank you guys all for watching. Again, as with all of my videos, this one is to start a conversation. This one almost more than any, because art is such a common thing in our world. So many people are artists, even if only in a small way. So, if you like this kind of content, this will be included in a playlist of commentaries not too dissimilar to this one, and that's all. I'll see you guys in the comment section.